all about a really cool animal. That animal is octopus. So I hope you enjoy octopuses, or if you don't know much about them, learn a lot more from my video. So, this is science like, or we want to comment or favorite octopus. You can text that in. That number is right below here. Now, you can definitely, however, you have to email them in, and that's that email right below here. Live at L. I have my friend Talia over here. All of your texts right this way. And then I have my friend. So again, love to get your participants. So let's go ahead and start off about. So I'm going to make some not observations, but brainstorm in your head a little bit about what you know about octopus. Now there are lots of octopuses that live right in Southern California, and I do right now have quite a few different octopuses. Like this one right here. So go ahead. And now we're going to make some observations about this animal. So what do you notice? What stands out? Does it look like any other animal before? Go ahead and make some observations. Well, I noticed that it kind of to me looks squishy. Does it look squishy to you? Yeah, it looks a little squishy to me. Yeah, so octopus are part of a group of animals called invertebrates. Now that might be a new word for you, so I have it right here. And again, invertebrates. So invertebrates are animals that don't have backbone. So if you reach around and you touch your back, you might feel it's a little bumpy. But that's fine. And we are invertebrates. We have that backbone. This octopus right here is invertebrate. So, notice the eye. It has two eyes on this side. It has this big kind of blob here. It almost looks like a nose. Do you see that? And then, oh, this weird, almost like a little noodle thing coming out of the side. Oh, I see this. Big spot. And then it has all of these eyes all around. So octopuses are kind of a grouping of animals also called cephalopods. It's kind of a fun word to say. Can everyone say that? Cephalopod. Cephalopod literally translates to head foot. So they get their name from, it looks like their head is sitting right on top of their feet. That would be kind of silly if that was the case for us, but it is. Now, are there any other animals that head? Has anyone here heard of squid? Yeah, look at this. Now, this is, I believe, a giant squid? Humboldt squid, next to a scuba diver. But I guess you could say it's pretty giant because look how big it is compared to the scuba diver right here. Now this squid right here is kind of upside down right now. So this is what we would think of as the top. And this is what we would think of as the bottom. But that is the feet. And
This is the head. So that you can kind of see it looks a little similar to an octopus. Again, squid are also cephalopods, head, foot. Another animal that you might not have heard of before that is also a cephalopod, which is really cool, is called a cuttlefish. Have you heard of that? Cuttlefish? Not cuddle like, oh, it's kind of cold. Do you want to cuddle? Not cuddle like that. This is Cutttle. So this is a little bit different than cuddling up. But this cuttlefish right here, do you see any similarities between that and an octopus? Yeah, I see all of these tentacles. Oh, I even see the eyes that we looked at before. And again, there's that big kind of blob area. Now, these animals that we looked at all look pretty squishy. But there's one more cephalopod that actually does have a bit of a hard part on the outside. And that is a really, really ancient animal. But guess what? We still have them in our oceans today. Do you want to take a look at it? It looks pretty cool. This is called, oh, thank you, Miss Stacy. Oh my goodness, look how cool this animal is. This is called a nautilus. So this nautilus, do you see any similarities between, between the octopus and the nautilus? Well, I definitely see all those tentacles coming on out. But I see this big shell. Now, this big shell right here, all of the rest of them don't have. But this nautilus I mentioned is very, very old. It's millions of years old. So it still has a shell from a very long time ago. So we kind of looked at different things that cephalopods or head-footed animals have in common. We see they kind of have a similar body shape. They have all of those tentacles. They have arms or tentacles. And I actually want to talk a little bit about, well, what's the difference between an arm and a tentacle? I mentioned both here. Are they the same thing? Well, let's check it out. I encourage you to text us in if you have any thoughts. Maybe if you know what is the difference between an arm or a tentacle. We'd love to hear from you. So let's go ahead and go back to our octopus here. Now, I mentioned before that our octopus has 8 arms. Ooh, look at all of these arms going on down. Now, octopuses have 8 arms, but an animal like a squid doesn't just have 8 arms. They actually have 2 tentacles and 8 arms. So, what's the difference? So I want you to observe these arms right here and observe all of these suction cups. Do the suction cups go all the way down the arm to the end? Yeah, they go all the way down the entire arm. Now, look how they're being used. Looks like they're being used to kind of move around. Maybe stick onto the glass here. Well, let's go ahead and look at an animal like a cuttlefish. And let's see if we see anything different about how they're moving. All right, I want you to take a quick look at here. This is a cuttlefish eating. What did you just notice? Oh, here we go again. Wow, did you see that? So it looked like they had these small ones here, and then 2 longer ones kind of shoot out to capture prey or to capture their food. Did you see that? Yeah, so tentacles and arms, they might sound like the same thing, and sometimes they are used interchangeably, but they are very different. Now, we were making observations about our octopus, and it had suction cups all the way down its arm. Now, octopuses have it all the way down because they're using it to move, and they use it to grab onto things as well. But tentacles, what do you notice is different? Well, I notice that it looks like there's only suction cups up here. Do you see that? Yeah, it looks like there's not suction cups down the entire thing. And it looks like this area is kind of skinny. And then it gets a little bit bigger up here. Well, these are for feeding, just like we saw that cuttlefish kind of shoot those tentacles out and capture its prey and then bring it back in and the arms closed around it. Yeah, these are used a little bit differently for feeding. But octopus, they don't have any tentacles. They only have 8 arms. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, well, we are talking about feeding. What do octopuses eat? What do you think? Octopuses, they live in the ocean. So do you think that they might eat maybe plants? Maybe some seafood? Yeah, well, these like to eat hard-shelled animals like crabs or mussels. They like to eat really hard shells because they can easily rip them open. It's a little difficult for us sometimes to open up a shell like a mussel or a clam, but they have such strong arms that they're actually able to pull those shells apart. And on top of that, they have in the middle, so we'll see here in a little bit, but they have a beak, kind of like a bird beak. And that helps them to break through hard things like shells as well. So actually what's going on right here is this octopus, oh, it knows something's going on. Do you see it kind of changing a little bit? Well, what do you see in this boat right here? There is a crab in that boat. So let's make observations. Let's see what's going on here. They can smell really well. So I bet that octopus is thinking, I know there's a snack in there, but hold on, I got to figure it out because it looks like my snack is in a boat. While you make some observations here, I'm going to answer a couple questions that have already come in. Caleb, here we go. What are the different colors of an octopus? That's a really great question. We're going to talk more about their different colors and their different ways they can change color, but they can pretty much change almost any color of the rainbow, but not each individual octopus, I would say. So certain octopuses are better at changing to certain colors, but I have seen ones that turn kind of purple. I have seen ones that kind of turn green, and I have seen ones that kind of turn red or even almost white or black. So they can change lots of different colors. That's a good question, Caleb. Let's see. Oh, we have one more observation coming in, so we'll hold off just a moment for that. So they love to eat hard-shelled animals that we were talking about, like that crab we saw in the boat just a moment ago. Oh, and we had someone that says they saw the boat. And do they eat snails? I guess they could eat snails. Yeah, they could take the soft part out of the shell there and eat that. But let's go back to our boat just a moment ago, because we saw that octopus, it definitely knew something was going on in that boat. Now, this is one way that we can give a little bit of playtime to some of our animals, like our octopus. So animals need enrichment because they're not out in the ocean hunting for their food. So we make it a little bit more difficult or a little fun for them to get their food sometimes. So this is that crab we have in the boat. And you can see that octopus knows something's going on, and it's going to grab that boat, and let's see if it eats that crab. Now, you might be wondering, well, how do they smell? Do you see a big nose on the octopus? Well, it does have that big kind of blob thing here that kind of looks like a nose, but it's actually not. Guess what? They smell and taste with those suction cups. So right now it's feeling around. I kind of think of it if we could smell and taste with our hands. I don't know if I would like that too much, but for an octopus, it works out really well. So he's exploring right now, seeing, hey, I think there's something in here. Let's go ahead and see exactly what that is. So bye, boat. The boat's going on down. Again, this is a form of fun we can give to our animals. Now, let's go ahead, and we talked about this kind of blob right here and how, you know what, it kind of looks like a nose, but they don't use it to smell. So what in the world is this big nose-like nose-like structure here? Oh, that's a perfect picture here. Now, this right here is where all of their organs are. So things like their hearts. Yes, I said hearts. They have 3 hearts. How cool is that? So they have 3 hearts in here. They also have their gills to breathe underneath the water. They have their reproductive area, so things to help them make babies. All of that is in here, and even their brain. Now, these are very, very smart animals, and their brain in here isn't shaped like ours. Ours is kind of shaped almost like a circle, but theirs is shaped like a donut. I know, how cool is that? So their brain is shaped like a donut just inside of this. So it's not a nose, but that's where all of their organs are. They don't have much below here, except for, again, those suction cups, those arms, and that mouth right in the middle. Oh, how many suction cups are in each arm? Jacob's asking. Great question. There are over 2. Oh, Jack was asking. We have over 200 suction cups per arm. So that's thousands of suction cups per octopus. And they can all move individually. So it's really cool. If you watch really carefully, you can see some might kind of suck down while the other one is kind of picking up a little bit. So they can all act independently of each other. How cool is that? Now, their arms, of course, are really great for catching their food, but they can also make them a little bit of an escape artist. So you might have heard or maybe seen in a movie that octopuses are actually able to get out of their exhibits. And that is true. They are very, very smart, and they can use these arms to kind of crawl all over. And we mentioned that they are invertebrates, which means how many bones do they have? None. Zero bones. So they can easily fit into tiny little places, just like in between these rocks here. Imagine if you could fit into tiny little places, and the only hard part on their body is their mouth. That beak that they use to kind of chomp into things, kind of looks like a bird beak. That is the only part that's hard. So if that beak, which is only about this big on a big octopus, if that can fit through something, the whole octopus can fit through it. Even really, really big ones. So you can see they are wonderful at squeezing into tiny places. So again, sometimes, like here at an aquarium, they might kind of hide, might not know exactly where they are, or maybe they're having fun playing in a little tube. We might not see them. But here in the ocean, they can fit in between little rocks. Now, I want you to think, well, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to fit in between little rocks? How do you think that's helpful for an octopus? Well, let's see. Maybe it's so they can sneak up on their food. Maybe if they're hiding and they're in a really small area, something walks by, they can grab it with one of their arms. So maybe they use it for eating. Or, what if something wants to eat this octopus? Well, this octopus can squeeze into really tight places that other animals might not be able to go. So it's actually a form of protection as well. It kind of works like it's a little house that other animals maybe can't fit in, but this octopus is nice and safe in there. Now, they have other ways of protecting themselves as well. And we actually had my friend, I believe it was Caleb, ask about it just a little bit ago. And that was about changing colors. Now, what about changing colors for an octopus? What do you notice here? Did you see that? Do you see an octopus right here? I don't. That is really tough to see. Now, in this coral reef here, if you were just swimming on by and you weren't really looking very hard, would you see this animal? Probably not. But that's because they can change their color. It doesn't always look like this. Look, that octopus came out of nowhere. How cool is that? Now, they can change their color to help them blend in with different places. Let's see if this octopus does anything right here. Whoa! How cool is that? They can use their coloration to also communicate with other octopuses. But I noticed something besides the color. Do you see anything else that's changing? Well, I noticed that in this picture, the octopus looks a little pokey. Do you see those little bumps coming off of it? Whereas when it was red, just a moment ago, it was a lot smoother. Let's go ahead and look at that one more time. Let's see if you can see how they change even their texture. So this here, it's a little bumpy. Oh, but look, it's so smooth right here. Oh, so they're able to not only change their color, but to also change their texture. Now that could help them because even if they were the same color as something, but they were all smooth and they're blending in, but what's around them is super spiky, it might look a little suspicious. You might think, something might be hiding right there. So if they blend in with the texture as well, do you think that could help them? Yeah, that can definitely help them keep away from predators and also catch their food. So actually, Jagger was asking, does the food go through the donut thing? Question mark. Awesome. Good question. So that donut that we talked about is their brain. So they don't use food inside of their brain directly. They can take in they can take in food through their mouth, or sometimes you'll see little pieces out of their siphon. But their donut brain won't. Oh, that what he's asking? Okay, so the siphon, yes, it goes through the center of the brain. So what goes through that little donut here? The food doesn't go through it, but the siphon does. We can also talk about that siphon a little bit more because that's a really great question, Jagger. So the siphon is this right here. Now this siphon, does everyone see that? It looks kind of like a noodle. Yeah, it kind of opens and closes. Now this siphon that's what helps the octopus take water into its body and in and over its gills. So there are gills inside of the octopus, this big gloppy area. And just like a fish, they need to take in water, and that's what they breathe in order to survive. And this siphon can actually do something else really cool. It can also ink. Yeah, that's another really cool adaptation that octopuses have. They can spray out ink. Now, why would they want to spray out ink? How could that help them? Well, maybe, let's say, if an octopus was hiding and something found them and they're thinking, oh no, I don't want to be eaten. maybe they could spray that ink and the predator goes, "Oh, I don't know where, I'm all confused." And the octopus could get away. So this is another adaptation, something the octopus has on its body in order to survive. It sprays out that ink in order to confuse predators right from this little siphon here. Now, some cephalopods, like a squid, actually use their siphon to swim as well. So octopuses, they don't swim quite like a squid does. But do you see how the squid is taking in water? And right here, there's the little siphon and it's pushing it out. So the squid goes really, really quick, nice and forward, called jet propulsion. Yes, squids can jet propulse themselves. Now the squid is a little bit harder than an octopus. So squid are still squishy, but inside of them, in order to help them swim without going all over the place, they have a small little, it's called a pen. And to me, it almost looks like a flattened straw. And it kind of feels that way too. It is called a pen, and it's a little, it's kind of, you can move it just a little bit, but it provides more structure for that squid to move on forward, which is pretty cool. All right, now I do want to talk a little bit, because we watched that octopus kind of figure out that there was food inside of that boat a few moments ago. There is something else that is really cool that we can talk about. Now, sometimes we do use different toys, if you will, for our animals. As you saw, our giant Pacific octopus had a toy boat with food in it. But, can they figure out things that maybe are a little trickier? Well, we actually tested this here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, and we were able to take a little red octopus and have them figure out if they can get food out of a box. So I want you to make some observations here about how they're moving and what do you notice maybe about their behavior. So let's go ahead and see. So it looks like there's a shrimp. Ooh, octopuses love shrimp. Put in a box. And one of our aquarists here it's going to put it right in here. There we go. Now remember, the octopus can smell, I love that. This octopus can smell and taste with those arms. And it's thinking, how do I get this shrimp out of here? Now they, again, are such smart animals that this octopus actually can open this box. And actually, get all the way in that box to eat that shrimp. What a really cool thing that we can do with our animals to kind of make sure that they are nice and engaged, keep their minds nice and healthy. Again, octopuses are so smart. They are pretty amazing invertebrates. Well, I'm so glad that we had some questions come on in today. I hope you learned a little bit about octopuses or even inspired you to learn more about octopuses. But again, thank you so much for joining us today. We will have another Aquarium Online Academy coming up pretty soon here in about a half an hour on habitats. So thank you so much for joining us today and have a wonderful day.